today. So let's get started. So the agreements are that you need to keep taking notes and have a pen and copy during the lesson and answer the questions that would be given after every revolution. So the revolutions we would be studying today are Russian Revolution, French Revolution, American Revolution, and Chinese Revolution. The first one is Russian Revolution. The Russian Revolution of 1917 destroyed the imperial authority and installed the Bolsheviks in power, increased governmental corruption, Tsar Nicholas II's reactionary policies, and devastating Russian losses in World War One. All contributed to widespread unhappiness and economic misery. How and why did it start? Economically, Russia's high inflation and food shortages aided the revolution. Militarily, insufficient supplies, logistics, and armament resulted in devastating casualties for the Russians during the World War One, further eroding Russians' opinion of Nicholas II. They thought he was weak and unstable to reign. The Russian Revolution of 1905 was ignited by the Bloody Sunday massacre, to which enraged workers responded with a series of debilitating strikes across the country. Farm laborers and soldiers joined the cause, resulting in the establishment of worker-dominated councils known as Soviets. Now, I want to ask you to do one thing. Write the meaning of the Soviet Union, who started it, and when was the Soviet Union created and when did it end? The one who will answer the correct question, the one who will answer correctly will be getting a shout out in the next video. Now we have a quiz. So the questions are: what was the major reason behind the Russian Revolution? Who ordered the execution of the Romanovs? Who was the last ruler during the Russian Revolution? The first answer: widespread inflation and food shortages in Russia. The one who said to the second answer is Vladimir Lenin and Yakov Svedlov. The third answer is Nicholas II. Please type your answers in the comments and you will be getting a shout out if you get all correct. What is the American Revolution? Between 1765 and 1783, 13 of Britain's North American colonies revolted against its imperial control, resulting in the American Revolution. The protest arose in response to the British monarchy and Parliament levying taxes without regard for colonial representation. The American Revolution was sparked primarily by colonial opposition to British attempts to establish more authority over the colonies and force them to compensate the crown for defending them during the French and Indian War. The war was held between 1754 and 1763. The four primary reasons of the American Revolution were the taxation acts, in which the taxes were increased a lot by the Britishers because they needed money and the Americans weren't giving them enough money, and the Americans were also defending the Britishers and the crown of the Queen during the French and Indian War. So that is the first reason. The second reason is the Boston Massacre. The second is the Boston Tea Party and the Intolerable Acts. So in the intolerable acts, what happened was that many Britishers and American nobles were not had joined forces and were not treating their people in the correct way and were mistreating them, increasing their taxes, not paying attention to their civilians, and that is how the revolution started in the first place. Now the general knowledge quiz. So, who was the first ruler during the American Revolution? When did the American Revolution end? Why did America want independence from Britain? Even after they some of them had joined forces with them to save them. So George the Third, 3rd September 1783, they wanted independence because Britain was asking for unfair taxes, and also was bad because America at that time was not as much as developed to give them enough taxes. The third revolution, French Revolution. What exactly was the French Revolution? The French Revolution was a time of great social upheaval the last that lasted from 1789 through 1799 for more than for 10 years. It intended to fundamentally after alter the relationship between rulers and those they ruled, as well as to rethink the essence of political authority. How and why did the French Revolution start? The French Revolution ran from 1789 until 1794. King Louis XVI needed more money, but when he convened a gathering of the Estates Generals, he failed to raise extra taxes. Instead, this became a protest against the situation in France, and that is why the French Revolution began and was one of the worst revolutions, as there was a lot of blood and a lot of killing because the nobles needed money and they did not care about the civilians. That is why they they used to kill some people. They would labor the child laborers would be there. There would be farm laborers. There would be a lot of mishappenings. And in that, the main point that you would like to highlight is when did it start and till when did it happen? That would be a great point to add in the notes, and I would highlight it right now. It would be better. This should be highlighted in your copies. And the names of the rulers you see, you need to highlight them as well. So you can also remember them and the causes like and some other things like estates generals, extra taxes, things like that. That would be helpful for you when teachers would ask you about these things in your classes. Now, why did the French Revolution start? When did it start and when did it stop? These are small questions, and the first question you can write an answer in 1 or 2 lines. If you want, you can write in 4 to 5 lines or write a para. It's on you. So the first answer is when King Louis XVI wanted more money, he raised taxes but failed so called a meeting with the Estates Generals, including the clerks, the nobles, and the rulers, and many other people, and turned it into a protest about the conditions in France. And it started in May 15th, 1789, ended 10 years later in November 9th, 1799. What is the Chinese Revolution? The Glorious Revolution, often known as the Revolution of 1688 and the Bloodless Revolution, occurred in England from 1688 to 1689. The Catholic monarch James II was deposed and his Protestant daughter Mary and her Dutch spouse William of Orange took his place. How and why did it start? So disagreements concerning religion and dissatisfaction with the king's use of power and economic policies were at the heart of war, and the main reasons of the English Civil Wars and the Chinese Revolution was summarized as Charles' unwavering conviction in monarchs' divine right to govern, Parliament's intention to limit the king's authority, and Charles' desire for funds to support his court and battles. So he could. So this was all about getting more money, like in the French Revolution and American Revolution. And in the Russian Revolution, they all just needed money, so they could use the money for themselves. And mainly in that, the main causes were they increased the taxes. The general knowledge quiz. So, who led the Chinese Revolution? What was the main cause that started the Chinese Revolution? And who was the first ruler during the Chinese Revolution? So the answers are the Huang Ling, the combination of imperialist demands, Sun Yat-sen. So that is going to be it, guys. So I would request you to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon, and like the video. Share it to the people who have been having the tests on these revolutions, and it would help them a lot. See you in the next video. Bye.